This video will describe how to service the sample valves on stainless steel chambers and multi-port manifolds. There are two primary reasons for servicing the valves. If the valve knobs have become difficult to turn by hand, or there is a vacuum leak at one or more of the valves, then the valves should be serviced or replaced. Let's start by identifying the components that make up the valve assembly. 12 and 16-port stainless steel chambers have the following components: valve knob and stem, valve body, bulkhead nut, thrust washer, flat gaskets, and bulkhead fitting. Multi-port manifolds have the following components: valve knob and stem, valve body, and trim ring. To disassemble the sample valves, remove the plastic valve knob and stem by pulling outward while twisting the knob. Remove the rubber valve body by pulling outward and slightly upward in the same motion. If you are only re-greasing the valves, this is as far as you will need to disassemble each valve. But let's continue with the full disassembly. The bulkhead nut is ribbed on the outside to provide a good grip when removing or installing the nut. But for final tightening, or getting the nut to start moving when loosening, use the valve wrench that was shipped with the chamber. The valve wrench has two pins that engage with holes in the bulkhead nut. Use the valve wrench to loosen the bulkhead nut, then unscrew the nut by hand. Remove the bulkhead fitting and inside gasket by pushing the threaded fitting through the hole to the inside of the chamber. Then remove the thrust washer and outside gasket. The sealing surfaces on the bulkhead fitting, gaskets, thrust washer, and chamber walls can be cleaned with a lint-free cloth and alcohol. Replace gaskets that have any cuts or defects from aging, which could prevent them from making a good seal. These parts should be clean and dry when reinstalled. Do not apply vacuum grease to these parts. With one flat gasket placed on the bulkhead fitting, install the fitting from the inside of the chamber. The sealing surface of the fitting is designed to match the curved inside surface of the chamber, so make sure the thicker walls of the fitting are oriented to the top and bottom of the chamber. Hold the bulkhead fitting in position while installing the outer parts. The sealing surface of the thrust washer is designed to match the curved outer surface of the chamber, so make sure the thinner walls of the fitting are oriented to the top and bottom of the chamber. Install the bulkhead nut, with the flat face toward the thrust washer. After hand tightening the nut, finish tightening with the valve wrench. After proper tightening with the valve wrench, the bulkhead nut should be difficult to turn by hand, and you should see a slight degree of compression on the inside and outside gaskets. Extreme over-tightening can cause the bulkhead fitting to crack. Use a lint-free cloth to wipe the old vacuum grease off of the sealing surfaces of the valve stem and valve body. Use a small brush or disposable gloves to apply a thin, even coating of vacuum grease to the sealing surfaces. Install the valve body and valve knob and stem. Rotating the valve body and valve knob and stem a full rotation after installing will help ensure all sealing surfaces are coated with vacuum grease. For multi-port manifolds, remove the valve stem and knob, valve body, and trim ring. Use a lint-free cloth to wipe the old vacuum grease off of all sealing surfaces, then apply new vacuum grease as previously shown. When reinstalling the trim ring, the beveled edge should be facing toward the manifold. Install the valve body and valve knob and stem. Rotating the valve body and valve knob and stem a full rotation after installing will help ensure all sealing surfaces are coated with vacuum grease.